Hi, welcome to Conversations, Resources for Family Wellness. This is the Talking About Race series. Today we will begin a discussion on what race is. What is race? Race is a concept that has existed throughout history. It has been developed by society to classify people on the basis of their skin color and other physical features. When we talk about race, it is important to understand that race has historically been used to establish one race as more superior to the others. It has also been used to determine which race will get the most resources and which will not. When talking about race, it is important to also talk about these two ideas of racism and privilege. Racism is the belief that one race is better than the others, which can lead to discrimination, mistreatment, and hardship for people in targeted groups, as previously mentioned. An example of racism is when slavery existed in the U.S., Black people were treated as property instead of humans. Privilege is defined as this advantage to unearned benefits a person receives simply due to their identity or to their belonging to a favored group. An example of this is when a white person in the U.S. does not know what it is like to turn on the TV to find that nobody looks like them or their family. In connection to the previous slide and the ideas of racism and privilege, we also have to talk about biases and stereotypes. Biases refer to the preferences that we may have for one group over another. Everyone has biases. However, not all biases are harmful. It is important to know that we are often unaware of our biases. An example of a bias is if employers are biased against women, they might hire a man over a more qualified female candidate. Stereotypes refer to making generalizations about an individual based on their group identity. Stereotypes are often assumptions. An example of a stereotype is, all Asians are good at math. Now that you know some main definitions of important terms surrounding race, you can watch the video that will play shortly that explains racism.
In the world we live in, some people seem to think that they are better than other people. These people seem to believe that the world is split into different groups of people, called races. Some of these groups believe that they are more or less superior to other groups. For example, in the most common form of racism we can think of, day in, day out, Black people are called rude words and often hurt by their white counterparts. When this occurs, and a certain group of people are treated unfairly compared to the people who mistreat them, it's called racism. Racism is a form of discrimination. Discrimination is where people, or some people, are treated badly or goodly based on a certain perceived feature of the person or those peoples. Racism is where people are treated badly or goodly based purely on race. Racism has been going on for years now, and it has influenced many events, such as the slave trade, which was when innocent Africans were taken by Europeans and forced to work in America as slaves. Or World War II, when the Nazis discriminated against Jewish people and many others. Plus the apartheid in South Africa. And of course, the civil rights movement in the USA. Because racism is a key factor and a bad factor in all of these events, people around the world are trying to get rid of it. Most people agree that racism is a bad thing and that people need to stand together against racism, and everybody needs to be treated the same in a good way. This is called equality.
In conclusion, race is a concept that has existed throughout history. It has been developed by society to classify people on the basis of their skin color and other physical features. Racism is the belief that one race is better than others, which can lead to discrimination, mistreatment, and hardship for people in targeted groups. Privilege is defined as disadvantage to unearned benefits a person receives simply due to their identity or to their belonging to a favored group. Biases refer to our preferences that we may have for one group over another. Everyone has biases, however, not all biases are harmful. It is important to know that we are often unaware of our biases. Stereotypes refer to making generalizations about an individual based on their group identity. Stereotypes are often assumptions. These terms are all interconnected. Next week, we will learn what preschool-age children know about race.